Hello. Welcome to this edition of Whiskey at Work. I am Mark, along with my buddy Rob sitting over here, who's already, apparently I found out, a couple glasses into this show today.
We had to have a little pre-Whiskey at Work whiskey.
Well,
it's today. And
my office is literally around the corner from you, and nothing was said about a pre-whiskey as we started this. Nothing was said.
You were giving away tacos.
It doesn't matter. You could have brought me in a glass and set it next to me. It's Whiskey at Work, after all.
I did have the H&H that we sampled last week.
Oh, that's the one you were drinking?
And it still holds up for a
you didn't
$10 bottle of Traveler.
Oh, well, if you're pre-gaming with that, then whatever. That's fine.
No, I didn't start off with the good stuff. I only do that when you're not in the in the studio.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Well, this is our second video now, where we are going to the bottom shelf of whiskeys and bourbons to find out what's down there. And this one was a total mistake by Rob Henry. What were you reaching for, Rob, when you grabbed this
in
instead?
In all honesty, I was reaching for the Evan Williams because I'd already had it before. But the Evan Williams has several different colors labels, and I had the green label before the first time and drank it, and it was delicious. Drank the whole thing. Didn't share any of it with anybody. Didn't bring it down because, he never buys it, so screw him. And so I wanted to try a different one, and I grabbed the black label thinking it was the Evan Williams Black, and it was not. It was the Ezra Brooks.
Oh, really?
I didn't realize that until we were having a conversation a week later.
I got something that can help you, Rob.
Yeah.
Next time you're in the old...
I look old.
Put one of these on, and then look at that.
I look old enough without the glasses, thanks.
Well, I'm happy you found this one, because even your mistake... You actually picked an award-winning bourbon from the bottom shelf.
I noticed that. I saw an article on it after I realized that I grabbed the wrong one.
Right.
And then I read later that it won some award. I think I sent that to you, didn't I?
It has actually won a couple. I mean, going back to 1989, it won one, and then recently here in 2018, it won... We always see the San Francisco Spirit Competition one. That seems to be one of the big ones. And in 2018, this took an award there. But the one you saw, I think, was something else.
Yeah, it was an Ezra Brooks. It was in the Ezra Brooks family. It just wasn't this particular bottle.
Got it. All right. Well, the reason we're drinking these because we do want to try.
Because we're tired of spending a lot of money on booze.
Really
part
are.
of it.
Oh, my goodness, we spent a lot of money. But I've always had the question when it comes to what we're drinking right now. This is what would you $10 for this? Is that what you paid for this?
Right around there, 10 to 12. I don't think it was that bad or that cheap, but it was in that $12 to $15 range for sure.
All right, so it's a bourbon. Bourbon is made one specific way. You have to have rules when you make bourbon, and they're pretty strict, pretty specific. So why can I go to a liquor store, grab a bottle like this, which, as I'm drinking it, this is not bad either. This is pretty good bourbon.
It's not overly complex by any stretch, but it doesn't. When I think of a bottom shelf bourbon or a bottom shelf anything, I'm thinking, shit, I'm going to need to take some Rolaids after this is done. I mean, it's going to burn all the way down and... Probably tomorrow, too.
You're drinking the bottom shelf because you were in Vegas and you lost everything, and this is how you drown your sorrows. But why? Why can I spend $10 to $15 on something like this and it tastes pretty good? Why do I go spend $50 on anything else that's sitting on the shelves above it then? I don't get it.
Well,
and I need an explanation.
I don't know if I could give you the right explanation, but I can certainly offer you an explanation.
Okay. Well, I would like anything.
We discussed this just a little bit earlier today.
We had a lunch date today.
Yeah.
We did.
He bought me my first lunch ever. I had to beg him for it, but he bought it.
There was no begging. I ran right out and got it.
So
anyway.
So my thought is that companies come in at certain price points. They come in at a $50 price point, build up a good name for that product.
So that's what the product they're starting with, you think? I mean,
I think so. I mean, those are the ones that are well known anyway, because they're developing those, they're marketing those, they're spending money getting those into the market, and then they either go higher or lower than that with the next product. But then they find out that they can be selling a pretty good product that maybe isn't aged quite as long, so they don't have that time investment into it.
Okay.
And they aren't going to throw any. They announce it as a new product, and they can come in and sell it because they don't necessarily have a product in that price point, and they're missing those consumers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it kind of does. But I don't understand why anybody would spend the $50 then on that the brand that got it started. If I'm like, look, this is made by the same company. It's practically made to the almost exact specifications. So why don't I just throw down a $10 bill and take that bottle home instead of the $50?
Because nobody until us dumb came out and were brave enough to try the bottom shelf. You walk in and I'm a Woodford Reserve fan.
Sure.
And then Woodford came out with the double oak, and it was just a little bit more. And then I'm like, wow, holy crap! That's you're shelling out for the
amount. That's just it.
For the amount of booze I consume, I need an alternative method here.
and that's what always not bugs me, but I guess just surprises me is that we are so used to that type of marketing. I think that and if it's good marketing, it works, and if it sells that $50 bottle, I mean, yeah, that's
right. I mean, there's a social stigma to it as well.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Hey,
look what I'm drinking. I'm pouring the Woodford Double Oak, and then people think you're classier than you are. But if they knew Rob and I, they would assume we just drank this on a regular basis.
Well, I don't think anybody, in all honesty, is going to confuse this with a Woodford.
No, taste-wise, I guess if you really know what you're drinking, yes, you're not going to pick this over a Woodford or over something from Buffalo Trace on their higher end of things, or even single barrel Jack or Sinatra
or a Gentleman or I mean, no one's confusing this with Jack Daniels either.
Right.
I mean, I'm still gonna buy a lot of Jack Daniels, but
I think it all goes back to when we first started this whole thing. One of the things we said pretty frequently, but we kind of got away from, is if it tastes good, then just drink it. I think for the longest time, bourbon kind of had a rough patch in the 70s and 80s. Nobody was really, it was considered, the vodkas and the tequilas were the big thing.
Yeah, that was the disco era, so we're just we're not going to remember that.
And so bourbon, yeah, it really wasn't in favor then, and it took a while to kind of get to where it is now. And yeah, there of course are some wonderful expensive bourbons out there and whiskeys that you can drink, but man, I suppose that if I was going to have maybe a get-together or a party or something, I'd have one really good, here's an expensive one, and then maybe I would pull out an Ancient Age or an Ezra Brooks and be like, here, just try this one, you guys. And then by the time the party is about halfway in,
then you put the good stuff
away. Yeah, you take that good stuff, you kind of move it over here, and then this is what you're drinking with everybody.
I smell what you're stepping in there.
But it's still going to be good, and I don't think anybody would hate it. I don't think anybody would.
Well, about halfway through, nobody's going to notice. I have threatened people in my house when I have had decent booze out that I know are whiskey Coke drinkers. I said, if you put in,
that's the threat right away.
You can drink the whiskey and the Coke, but if you put them two together, you're going to be drinking this bottle.
Ezra Brooks is the there's no such person as Ezra Brooks. We found that out in doing some research today.
Yeah, it was a bit of a search. Apparently.
Yeah, it was.
You came in all excited 2 different times, screaming, I found him, and then he's not real.
Nope, there was nothing. But it did have a Jack Daniels tie-in. If you notice,
I tried to lob that to you earlier. I don't know.
I know, I didn't get that one. I'm sorry. If you're listening to this on the podcast, we'll kind of, because we make this the podcast too, because we're lazy that way and we drink a lot of work. But if you're listening to this on the podcast, the label on an Ezra
Google
Brooks
it when
bottle,
you get home.
or you can.
Good grief!
It does look similar to a Jack Daniel's label, and that was their intention. When Frank Sinatra was telling everybody that Jack was the nectar of the gods, they ran out. They couldn't keep up anymore. So Ezra Brooks was like, "Hey, fellas,
we're almost as good.
look over here. Our label's black." And for a while, they had a number 7 on it too. So just to add to the confusion when people would go in to buy. So they tried to sneak in there. Jack Daniels brought a lawsuit against him saying, "Hey, you guys got to knock that off." But Jack lost that lawsuit.
Didn't work.
No, it didn't. So Ezra Williams was able to continue.
Or Ezra Brooks.
I keep saying Ezra Williams.
You make fun of me for grabbing the wrong bottle, and you can't even say the name right.
Who is Ezra Williams?
No one.
I bet you that's a real person. I'm going to go find out when we're done with this stupid thing. So Ezra Williams has to be a real person.
That's probably Evan Williams.
Am I thinking I'm thinking of the band Better Than Ezra? Maybe I'm thinking of that too. I don't know. I'm not even a full one in yet, and I can't think straight with this whole thing.
Shut up and drink it.
Anyway, that's
I think the
Ezra
lesson
Brooks.
is unless you have back problems, don't be afraid of trying something on the bottom shelf. I mean, what the worst you're going to be coming out of is $10 or $15 later in your wallet, and
exactly, and you're still going to drink it,
and you can still drink it with a Coke if you want to. I mean,
absolutely. So I think we'll do. I think next week we'll do one more. I think we're going to go to the granddaddy of the bottom shelf whiskeys. I think we're going to travel to Canada, and
are we?
We're going to grab.
We might have to travel the Canadian Highway. I'd like to try some of them from my youth.
Yeah, well, and maybe that's what we could lead into. Then we could do the black velvet.
Plus, it's cheap.
Oh boy. Just saying that, it does.
As my wife is spending all of her money on Christmas presents, I'm buying bottom shelf Canadian
now it's time
whiskey.
to get the black velvet, absolutely.
But, Canadian Mist.
Well, there's others.
Lord Calvert. I mean, I know there's plenty of fans out there. You guys
Sure.
don't start writing me hate mail if you haven't already.
There's good Canadian. The Wisers was one of our favorite Canadians.
And I don't think we ever. I think we just drank that.
Yeah, we just drank it. Didn't even bother putting it on the film.
Is
It was
gone?
so good.
Did we drink it
Yeah,
all?
it's gone. I drank it. We
I
finished.
think they have it in stores here now.
18-year. Go grab some if you find it. Wisers. It's delicious. That's what we'll try to do for next week.
But I do think we should travel a little bit of that.
All right, we'll go up to Canada. We'll hang out
We
with our
haven't done
neighbors
any
to the north.
Canadian, I mean, I'm not sure you can find a good Canadian whiskey, but we'll give it a shot.
Hang out with America's Hat next week, maybe.
America's hat?
Canada.
Oh, Lord. What's that
All
make
right.
Mexico? A boot?
Maybe underwear, possibly. I don't know. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Holster. But you might want to edit that out.
Yeah, we'll take that one out. Maybe we'll
There's
try that
probably
again.
some Hispanic folks who don't like that.
Thanks for hanging out with us here on Whiskey at Work.
Salud.